older creators, how have you been? Today, we're going to get into a review of The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Now, we're reading this book, well, really because of Ali Abdaal. He did a review of it a while ago, and it's been on my list to read. I've read it twice in the last 3 months. There's a fair bit to talk about, whether I recommend this book or not. Alright, now Michael Gerber. This dude he's still alive. He's 87 years old. He's still active on Twitter. He's married. He's got kids, which is kind of cool. This guy's been around the block a lot. He knows a lot. And this book, the original copy was released in 1995, from what I can tell. This one that I've got here is from 2001, The E-Myth Revisited. There appears to be other versions and other editions as well. So this book has certainly been released and reworked a fair bit over time. Now that's okay, because I've referenced Hormozi before. He talks about something really cool where an older book may in fact be of more value because that author is not trying to sell to you, they're trying to teach. But let's talk about that. So hey, let's get this straight. Michael Gerber is definitely trying to sell to you. He lectures and he speaks and he runs his own business, The E-Myth. But there's, I get what Hormozi's saying. This guy's definitely trying to teach you with this book. It's a great little book. So really this book feels like a chat with your grandfather. And maybe that's why Ali Abdaal liked it so much. That's kind of how I feel he communicates in his videos. Very much like it's a chat with a friend or with a more senior mentor. And that's what this book feels like. The whole book is framed as a chat with a fictional business owner, I believe it's fictional, called Sarah. And she's got this small business called All About Pies. The book constantly, Michael veers off into lessons, but then the book returns to this fictional chat with Sarah to illustrate the points that he's trying to get across through the book. And it works really well. It just keeps the book moving, makes it light, makes it easy to read, illustrates the point in a very human kind of way. Now, some of the crux of the book is the three conflicting people that we might be in a business. The entrepreneur, the manager, or the technician. And they're really the crux of the book. Okay, the entrepreneur, and I quote, "The entrepreneurial personality turns the most trivial condition into an exceptional opportunity. The entrepreneur is the visionary in us, the dreamer, the energy behind every human activity, the imagination that sparks the fire of the future, the catalyst for change." Is that you? The manager. The managerial personality is pragmatic. Without the manager, there would be no planning, no order, and no productivity. Or are you the technician? The technician is the doer. If you want it done right, do it yourself is the technician's credo. The technician loves to tinker. Things are to be taken apart and put back together again. Things aren't supposed to be dreamed about. They're supposed to be done. So if you're an older creator and you've got a history of working, you've probably done some sort of retail or really customer serviced frontward facing role throughout your life. This book is going to hit you hard with some of the examples. I've done a fair bit of retail work in my life, and you just think about all those local cafes or businesses where you go to, and you might be rolling up to the counter, and if your favorite barista's not there twirling the knobs, you get that little feeling where you're like, I need to do a U-turn and walk away, You're a needy customer, just like I am. And this book talks a fair bit about how small businesses get bogged down with that one person within the business being the crux point of the business. And all the customers come to that person and slowly but surely suck the life out of them. Ever been there? Not nice, is it? So is it for us as a creator, as a small business owner, or whether you manage people within a large business? As I got through the book, like in Ali's review, it talks a fair bit about business franchises and also models for small business owners, how to automate things, how to work on your business instead of being stuck within your business. And the middle of the book is where I thought, I'm not really sure that this is for me as a small creator, a business of one, well, not even a business, an idiot of one. But I kept a bit of trust in Ali's feedback that this book has got some fantastic illustrations of systems and just how valuable it is with setting up systems. And so I kept remembering Ali's review, and I thought, I've just got to keep reading on. So there's a lot of really good stuff in here, and it references McDonald's a lot. And if you're just a total outsider, you'd think, what the hell Why would I care about McDonald's? I mean, as it's laid out in the book, you just can't help but admire the models and begin to get so much of a better understanding of what Michael's talking about and why these models and these systems are important. If you're a creator of one and you're doing everything yourself, well, maybe not so important, but you might want to read this book. Let's keep talking about it. So how would we take the lessons of efficiency over to our own small creative endeavor? Well, really, it starts with awareness. And as Michael says, any plan is better than no plan. So there is a couple of chapter highlights that really hit me hard that I do want to read. There is some absolute words of wisdom in this book. Okay, I'm just going to read this verbatim. All right, chapter 9. It is critical that you understand the point that I'm about to make. For if you do, neither your business nor your life will ever be the same. The point is, your business is not your life. Your business and your life are two totally separate things. At its best, your business is something apart from you, rather than a part of you, with its own rules and its own purposes. An organism, you might say, that will live or die according to how well it performs its sole functions, which are to find and keep customers. That hammered me. I also love this little snippet where Michael Gerber defines value. So many different definitions of value out there on the web at the moment. What is value? How do we understand it? Well, I would suggest that value is what people perceive it to be and nothing more. He wrote this some 28 years ago, something like that. And we've still got a lot of people defining value today exactly as that. All right, because this book is of a certain vintage, we've got some pretty cool stuff that we can, some breadcrumbs that we can follow back. The book is so old that Michael is referencing some really old authors that have influenced him. Some breadcrumbs that we can follow back. We might follow this up, and this is how we find some really cool stuff. He references an author that I've never heard of called Alvin Toffler, who wrote a revolutionary book called The Third Wave. I quickly Googled it. You can still find this book online, so there's an author that we might follow up. All right. Chapter 12, absolute clanger. Shocked to see it here. This is a concept that keeps coming up in all the much newer, written in the last couple of years, self-improvement books that I've been reading, and that is the whole "you'll be dead one day" concept. Only Michael Gerber has done it better than everyone. This really belted me. I did not see this coming. I was reading into the chapter before I realized what was going on. We see this in Atomic Habits and Show Your Work, this whole "you'll be dead one day, so get off your ass." I wonder if Michael Gerber is the originator of this idea, and if he's not, who did he steal it from? Anyway, I was a couple of pages into chapter 12 where he's talking about you're sitting in a room, all your friends are there, they're all facing the front, it's a warm room draped with curtains, etc., 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 and then you realize he's walking you through your funeral. And it's all about, as you sit there and you watch your friends read the story of your life at your funeral, what would you like them to be saying about you? This is the stuff that we can be doing now. We can be influencing that moment out in the future. Chapter 12, absolute clanger. As we get through the book, there's a whole lot of real businessy stuff on structures and hierarchy. This was actually really cool. He lays out the reasons why you need structures and hierarchy, and how it's all going to go to hell in a hat if you don't. What's going to happen? And the arguments are really convincing. And I couldn't help feeling Ali Abdaal's done these great videos where he scaled up and he hired a bunch of people, and although the top line increased, he was actually making less at the bottom line. Fascinating videos. Thanks, Ali. They were fantastic. I do wonder whether this whole structures and hierarchy thing really influenced Ali. Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, further on in the system, so we're still talking about structures and hierarchy. Basically, you want to define your systems in your hierarchy, or you'll be exposed to the horrible conundrum of seemingly hiring highly skilled, amazingly competent managers who are bad for your business. Michael goes on to lay out his arguments for why you don't want those people, why you want systems in place so that people of any skill level could come into your business and do the job. Skip the whole frustration of managing these people, these highly supposedly competent people, and just put the systems and the hierarchies in place. So Michael rounds out the book with a letter to Sarah from All About Pies, and it's really cool, and there's a riveting section here. He starts off with a quote from Rollo May. "Our freedom does not come automatically. It is achieved, and it is not gained on a single bound. It must be achieved each day. Now, there was a section here as we face the robot age where it feels like the world's changing at such an increasingly fast pace. That just had me wondering, is this just the change that's always occurred in the world that we're in? If you're worried about the robot age and AI and everything that's changing around you, Michael Gerber wrote this in 1995 odd. And I'm just going to leap into this. If we had such a yearning for values in 1953, when May's book was first published, we may have such a yearning for values today. What happened to us in the interim? The Cold War, a trip to the moon, Korea, the Vietnam War, Cambodia, the sexual revolution, the feminist revolution, the civil rights explosion, the psychological revolution, the New Age manifesto, and the coming millennium. One hell of a lot, I would say. You could probably add AI and the robot age onto that. I certainly remember growing up with the Cold War, with the whole US-Russia thing, and how much fear that put in me as a kid. Look, maybe the whole robot AI thing really is just change that has always been occurring. I'm not too sure that there's too much to worry about other than get on board and embrace it. All right, so with all the books, we're going to review them on the dusty, amazing custom 3-point scale. Are we going to put it back in the op shop, give it back to the street library? Are we going to keep it and reread it? Or are we going to keep it and recommend it to a friend? I've got a unique perspective on this. I'm definitely going to keep the book and reread it. There's no doubt about that. It's not being given away. I want to keep this. My next point really is a two-pronged report. If you're a small creator, there's probably no need to rush out and buy this book. I'll be honest, okay? However, if you are a creator that is monetizing or a small business owner, this is probably something that you want to consider. There's a lot in this book. It's very well written. It's 25, 30 years old, and people are still talking about it today. So I think that there is a lot of value here. So I'm definitely going to be keeping the book, slotting it into the bookshelf and rereading at a later date. If my YouTube, Twitter, Insta thing ever gets going and I get monetized and start to, make a few dollars, a few seashells out of this, I'll be running back, rereading this book and implementing the actions. If you're a small business owner, there's so much in this book. I really do recommend it if you're a small business owner. So pretty cool book. Thanks for writing this, Michael. I'm glad you're still with us. You can give me a call. We can do a podcast together about this book. You're old. You've got a lot to say. I admire the book. Thanks, mate. Yeah.